Greetings. It is Monday, which means Wheezy Mondays, in which we talk about whatever I want to talk about. This time, I have several things I want to talk about, including quitting Twitter and eating this banana. Actually, neither of those. I'm not going to talk about eating a banana, and I actually didn't quit Twitter. I'm not a quitter. Thing I did do, which I do periodically, is I deleted Twitter off my phone. This works for a couple of reasons. One, it keeps Twitter away from me, but two, it reminds me that I want to quit Twitter. So I look at my phone and I'm like, let's see what's on the winner. And I'm like, oh, that's right, I deleted it off my phone. Our past Craig didn't want me to do this, so then I'll put it down. Because I can easily go to the browser and just be like twitter.com and look at my Twitter, and I occasionally might, and that's how I've done this several times. That's how I eventually get drawn back in. Like I'll need to tweet something, like I'll need to promote a video, or someone messaged me on Twitter, so I have to go to Twitter to see what they said, and then I'll go to the browser, and then I'll start going to the browser a lot. And then, or some big news event will happen and I want to know what's going on. So I'll go there a lot and then be like, well, this is wasting time. It's more convenient. I'll just download the app. This has happened to me 3 or 4 times. I've gone through this cycle. But every time I delete it off my phone, there is a period of several weeks where I'm not on there as much. And it's better. Life is better when I'm not on there as much. Am I less informed? I don't think so. I think I still know pretty much everything that's going on. Or everything I care to know. When someone tells me something, hey, did you hear? And I'm like, yeah, I did. Because I do still go to Twitter on my computer occasionally, but I'm not drawn in as much when it's not in my pocket. And I'm also, is that the best place to get my news? No, probably not. I get it from several sources, but that's one of them. It's a good place to just find out what the main thing that everyone seems to be talking about. But even, is that true? Everyone on Twitter is talking about it. And it's not everyone on Twitter is talking about it. It's everyone in my bubble talking about it. So, I do think Twitter is useful. I'm not anti-Twitter. I'm not anti all social media. I think it can be useful in certain ways. But we quit the internet for a month, did a video about it. Life was better. I liked it better. And every time that I reduce my social media use, I tend to like it better. I get drawn back in because when you're not paying attention, your mind's just going to go to whatever is the most immediate. The easiest way to get the quickest stuff. Long term, not even that long term. Longer term than immediate, it's not good for you. But yet I go back to it. Why? I don't know. But point is, I deleted Twitter off my phone, and it's better. I think I'm sleeping better because of it. I feel like I have less stress. I think what inspired me this time to delete it off my phone is that I got into an argument with someone on Twitter, and then I stayed up really late because of that. Like, because I was, trying to see what people's reactions to what I said, but also just thinking about it. Thinking about, is this argument over? Have I said everything I need to say? And my mind's racing right before bed. It's not a great thing. You're supposed to wind down before bed. This is a thing that I've learned over and over whenever I read anything about sleep. And probably one of the biggest reasons why I have trouble sleeping or falling asleep. When I have trouble falling asleep, because I don't always have trouble falling asleep. I always wake up in the middle of the night and I don't know. I don't know what I'm supposed to do about that. I mean, I've tried many, many things. Many of you suggested things, and because I brought this up, you're going to suggest them again. And it's just, I don't know. I don't know if I'm just going to accept it or what. But it's actually not as bad. My sleep has gotten a little better since I started exercising, or started strength training, because I was already exercising. To a point, it's gotten better, but occasionally it's still not. I think I need to do what like what I've generally done at any point in my life when I wanted to be productive, when I wanted to get things done, when I wanted to have energy, just live with live with the way things are. This is how I feel. This is how in general I'm usually going to feel. Don't wait for a time when I feel great, when I feel ready to do anything, because that never happens. It's just, this is how it feels. Go for it. When I was making videos every single weekday on Wheezy Waiter, way back, way at the beginning, I didn't feel ready. I didn't feel like, oh, I have all these ideas. Well, I kind of did have ideas, but it wasn't like, okay, I can see how this is going to, I have a business model lined up. I have a big plan, and I can see how this is going to skyrocket me to a wonderful career. I didn't have that at all. It was just like, well, I have to start now. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I'm ready. When we decided to have a baby, or when I think China was already ready to have a baby, I was waiting for a time when I was ready, and then I realized, I just applied it to everything else in my life. I'm like, I never feel ready for anything. You just have to do the thing. And so I'm just like, let's have a baby. I mean, the YouTube channel was kind of on the decline. I didn't know what the future might hold. When am I ever going to know when the future might hold? And so we had the baby, and we're doing fine. And we worked through it. Any problems, any inconvenience that might cause, because we wanted to have a baby. Just like when I want to make things. Like right now, I'm working on a script with my friend Matt for a movie, and it's progressing. It just keeps progressing, and there are times where I'm like, well, how am we going to do this? This seems like a massive project. This script is never going to be finished. We're always going to find things about it. How do you make it's not going to be good enough. The script isn't going to be good enough. We need a new idea. Let's start over. Like, those thoughts come up. I hope Matt's not watching this, because I never tell him these thoughts, because they're not helpful. I shut them down, and I say, we got to continue. Keep working. This is how things get good, is you work through those thoughts, and you fix it. You figure out what's wrong, and you fix it. You just go, and you're not going to feel ready. You just do it. And so, wow, I'm way out. I'm just, this is a real conversation we're having. It's a real off topic or tangential conversation. So like with sleep, I crave it so much because I want to have more energy during the day so that I feel more ready to make things. So that it's easier to produce, to be productive. And I try, and it seems like this is as good as I can get my sleep and my schedule. So the alternative is to just say, this is how my life is. This is how it's always going to feel to be productive. So just do it. Just make things. Live with the pain, I guess. If it is painful. It's not always painful, but that's just if you read about anyone making anything, no one ever talks about how easy it is. This is what they mean when it's hard. It's hard. It's hard physically. It takes a lot of time. There's a lot of worry. There's a lot of uncertainty. But it doesn't feel good. It doesn't always feel good. Your mind, you have to procrastination and being lazy and all of that it's because it's more comfortable to be that way. You just have to fight it sometimes. That's often the answer. Like when I'm looking for, you can do things like delete Twitter off your phone, but when I'm looking for productivity tips, it always comes down to the same things. They're always like these rules. I told you about the 10-minute rule, which helps me, and these rules can help, but they always come down to the same thing. Like, you have to trick your brain into wanting to be productive. Or there's just this element of it where it's like, you just have to start. You just have to do it. And in a lot of ways, you are running counter to what your brain wants. At least in my case, in my experience, when I want to be productive, I'm running counter to my brain wants to watch. I want to go upstairs and watch Taskmaster with my wife all day long. And I want to eat waffles smothered in syrup right now. I have a banana still right here. I love bananas too, but have some beer, have some whiskey, and just hang out all day. That's almost all the time. That's what I want to do. When I'm in the middle of something, when I'm in the middle of writing something and or editing something, making something, they're watching Bluey upstairs right now. There's a little bit of excitement. There's shreds of excitement. There's the thrill of discovery when you do something and it's working and you feel good and it feels good. It feels good, and you're in the flow state. They say that happens for sure. But to get there, you have to work through all of the. Initially, I don't want that. Lay down, read a book, watch TV. Part of it helps take a break to actually do those things, to enjoy your life, to be lazy sometimes. But one thing I guess the point I'm getting at is you can't wait for inspiration. You can't wait for some sort of muse, some sort of thrill to excitement of making things, because most of the time that's not going to happen. It's not going to come. It's going to be I want to be lazy more. I think I have experienced little thrills of inspiration. At the beginning of Wheezy Waiter, I was very excited to be making things. But even then I had momentum, so I kept going and going. I was afraid to stop because I knew that feeling would go away. I was in a flow state that kind of lasted a little while. But you're always going to have to fight through the not wanting to do it. You're never going to feel ready. You have to just say, I don't usually swear on here, so I'll just say F it. You just have to say that. This is how I feel like crap, gotta do it anyway. So many excuses. Like I might go for a run later, even though right now I feel like kind of groggy, kind of like I don't feel like exercising. But that's the whole point. You have to do it when you don't feel like it. You have to do it when it doesn't feel good. If you want to progress, if you want to make things, depends on what you want. You can be lazy. Go for it. I think short term might feel good. Long term, I don't know your situation. Maybe you'll be fine. But it seems like if you want to accomplish things, you have to fight through that. So yeah, I deleted Twitter off my phone. And it's working. And I'm less stressed and I feel like I'm getting the news. And moving on to the water situation. So about 3 weeks in, speaking of water, I better take a drink of water. Measuring my water every day and haven't missed a day, and I'm at like, because I told the app that I'm generally active, I do a lot of exercise on certain days. And so it told me about a gallon of water a day. And it's working. I think there are some days when I'm not exercising, I'll still drink that same amount and it feels like maybe too much. But I don't even know what it feels like to have too much. But I definitely will be drinking sometimes when I'm not really feeling like I need to. And you can drink too much, and that's not good for you either. I don't think I'm in that level of too much, though. But anyway, I don't really notice a great deal of difference after 3 weeks of doing this. Maybe I'm less hungry sometimes. I know some of you are saying that that's a myth, that if you're feeling hungry, you might actually be thirsty. I didn't even know people thought that was a myth. And I've looked into it more, and I think there's no reason to think that it is a myth or isn't a myth. I'm just going from my experience, and I think it's true. I think there are times when I feel hungry, but then I'll drink water and I'll be fine. And calorically, I'm doing fine on that day. I've been eating enough. So, to me, yeah, I think it's true. That said, I don't really notice that great of difference paying attention to the amount of water I'm drinking, and maybe it's because I was already drinking plenty. So, this next week, I'm not drinking. I'm not drinking water, quitting water. No, I am not measuring. I'm going to stop for this week to see what the difference is, so that info can get in the video. Otherwise, I would do the month, make the video, and then I wouldn't know. It wouldn't be in the video what it was like to stop. So I'm stopping, measuring, and we'll see what happens. This morning I didn't pay attention. We went for a walk, and after the walk I felt pretty tired and drained of energy, and I thought I needed some breakfast, and I was cooking breakfast. But while I was doing that, I had a bunch of water. I realized I probably had less water at that point because I wasn't paying attention to it. And then I felt better before I had breakfast. So it was probably the lack of water. Or it could have been I was just focusing on making breakfast, and I don't know. It's hard. You can never know for sure. But I do think I was feeling a little low of energy and a little drained, a little like I needed fuel because I didn't have enough water in the morning like I had for the past several weeks. It's not extreme though. It's not like life-changing. I think it could be for people who perpetually don't drink enough. I don't think there's any argument that water is good for you. I think that's for sure. Where you can argue is if the amount you should have, and there's a danger of having too much. Anyway, that's my water situation. China and I are planning to do no sugar, no alcohol in a week. We're going to start. We're revisiting the no sugar, no added sugar for a month. And we're doing, but this time combined with no alcohol. I know there's that whole thing. Well, alcohol is sugar. It's not. But this time we're just gonna do both, because last time we did no sugar. We still had alcohol occasionally, without sugar. Like we didn't have like a mixed drink with sugary sodas or anything, but we did have alcohol. And when we did no alcohol, every time I go without alcohol, like periods of time without alcohol, I tend to go to sugar. I tend to crave sugar, and I tend to overdo the sugar probably. So this time, neither one. Getting rid of both. And that'll be quite the challenge. I think that's going to be a pretty decent challenge. Yeah, wow. We're gonna have to be creative about snacks. We're gonna have to make sure we have some kind of snack thing around that isn't sugar at all, like, or added sugar in it at all. That'll be tricky. I mean, we can do fruit because that's not added sugar. But whew, saying this out loud now, I thought it was going to be fine. We're going to get no sugar, no alcohol. Now that I think about it, this one will be a pretty big challenge. As far as coffee goes, still was up to 1 cup a day of coffee. And it's fine. Like, I feel like it's better because I would occasionally have stomach issues when I had coffee. I would tend to have at least 2, probably more a day for a while there. And so I stopped, and it felt maybe it was an improvement. But the past couple days I've gone back up to 2. And what inspired that was this book. Dr. Aaron Carroll, the Bad Food Bible. I interviewed him during the vegan video. Many commenters not agreeing with the things he said, or anyone I interviewed what they said. And in general, anytime I interview anyone, there's always someone in the comments who doesn't agree with what they said. That's just the way it is. That's the way the world is. But this is a good book, and it tends. I trust Dr. Aaron Carroll, and it's basically about, it goes into studies and how we conduct studies around food and health, and goes through different things like sugar, alcohol, MSG, gluten, coffee, all those things. The coffee section, which I already knew most of this, doing research about coffee, about how there's a lot of reason to believe, a lot of good studies that have been done. A lot, apparently, according to him, it's been studied a lot. Coffee has. A lot of the things he talks about haven't had a lot of studies, but coffee has. And good studies, and bad ones. But the general consensus these days is that it's not only not bad for you, but probably good for you in a lot of ways. Up to like 3 to 5 cups, we're talking. And it sort of inspired me to go back to drink a little more. And 2 cups to me is fine. I feel good after 2 cups, so why not? So I'm back at it, man, it's fine. I might even have a 3rd cup today. What time is it? It's 11:43. Might be getting a little too, might be pushing it. I don't ever have it past usually past noon, but definitely not past 1. I'm not going to have coffee because it'll probably affect my sleep. It might affect my sleep anyway. But when I was quitting coffee, my sleep didn't really get better either. So it's not the coffee. It's not just the coffee. I think in general, my biggest problem with sleep is probably my lack of schedule around it, my lack of ritual around it. We tend to watch TV, and I tend to, or go on social media, or do something stimulating into the later hours of the night, and then I'm not, it takes me a while to get sleepy and fall asleep. Even that I'm not sure is the thing, because sometimes there are several nights where I get into a good pattern where I'm going to sleep at the right time, but then I wake up in the middle of the night. That just happens. Could be low melatonin, could be, there's so many things. I've looked into so many things. And I know there's a biphasic sleep. There's human beings used to sleep in 2. Everyone brings that up all the time too. In the old-timey days, it used to be you would wake up in the middle of the night. That was a common thing. That could be, but still plenty of people are able to sleep all the way through the night just fine. My wife sleeps all the way through the night just fine. Maybe I just can't. But yet I feel like I need more sleep often when I wake up. Doesn't matter. I got to work through it anyway. That was the whole beginning of this video. You got to work through it anyway. One other thing on my mind these days: gear, fidelity, technical stuff about camera and editing and things. In general, I always say that it doesn't really matter. I'm not like a gearhead. The ultimate quality of what you make technically is less important than the content. And I think people get too wrapped up in it to the point where it keeps them from making things. That said, I came across this YouTuber, Ali Abdaal. You may have heard of him. He's very popular. He recently hit 1 million subscribers. He does a lot of, I think he recently quit his job as a doctor. And he does a lot of productivity stuff, like how to study and motivate yourself. I've been watching his videos, and I noticed the way he does graphics. The way it's a lot of look pretty professional, pretty well done. And then he said that he does a video tutorial on how he makes his videos, and I went and watched a little bit of that, and I saw that he doesn't make those graphics. He buys them from Video Hive or other places. For Final Cut, I use Premiere. So then I started looking into that, like buying little graphic things. Most of them I don't like because it doesn't feel like me. It feels too professional. It feels too much motion, too much animation that just doesn't seem to. I just don't think it would fit. Because I don't want to come across as professional, right? No, it's fine to come across as professional. But so then I looked into it more and I discovered a lot of it I can make myself and make my editing easier. Like those lists I do. I tend to have like the title come in and then like lists pop up. I do all that in Final Cut like every time from scratch pretty much. When I knew there was a better way, I just haven't gotten around to figuring it out. I finally figured it out and I've made these little graphic animations that are standard that I can pull up anytime and it'll make my life a whole lot easier. Here's the example. Here's what I made. Right there. There's a list. Yay. Well, if you're listening to this, a list popped up on the screen. And I've looked into that, and I've looked into ways to sort of streamline color correction or other things. This video, I shot it flat in C-Log, they call it, which looks like this. And then I color corrected it with what they call a LUT. But I also did my own manual color correction. I'm going to figure out a way to sort of save that and make it. I know how to do it. I just got to get around to doing it. So that it's standard, so that I can just plug it in. Because normally I'll just like just shoot native into the camera without needing color correction. But if I shoot it flat like this, then I need color correction. Otherwise it looks super flat. So I'm looking into upgrading that. I've upgraded. I've got a little light I bought that I can mount up here for when it's dark. I don't need it right now. But a new mount. I got new lavalier mics, Rode Wireless Go, which I have some lavalier mics, but they're big and clunky and a lot of wires. But I got this new ones I'm going to be using. They haven't shipped yet. So for the next video, which is China and I talking about, we're answering each other's questions, sort of like we're playing the Newlywed Game, where we decide, where we try to figure out what the other person answered. We're doing that. Would have been great with the new lav mics, but they're not here yet. But anyway, got that. I'm looking into upgrading. I'm in upgrade mode right now, and it was sort of inspired by Ali Abdaal. You should check out his stuff. It's pretty good. But I don't know why. Like normally I'm like, it doesn't matter. And I guarantee it probably won't matter. Most people won't notice. But that's the point of it, I guess, is to do it so people don't notice. But I think that's also a way to motivate yourself, to upgrade, to get new equipment, to get new things. It feels novel. Like this video, I've color corrected, which is kind of exciting for me. I even put a lamp behind my TV. If you're watching, sorry for everyone listening. And I'm color correcting, and it adds a layer of excitement because I'm trying something new and technical, even though it probably doesn't matter to most people. It does mentally help me, like upgrading, which is, and it doesn't necessarily require money. I already had that lamp. I already had the ability to color correct. But little things like that technically I think we worry about too much, they do help sometimes to help motivate you. Make it novel, make it new in some way, even if it is arbitrary. Like if you're writing a journal and you find yourself not writing the journal anymore, get a new pen. Get a pen that has like Thor on it. Get a Thor pen. Does that exist? I don't know. As a way to motivate yourself, completely irrelevant to the actual journal. I don't know. Go for it. That's about it. Be on the lookout for China and My Convo video, which should be out, I think, by early next week. So maybe there'll be another Wheezy Monday before that video comes out. And if I go back to Twitter, which I do occasionally, be on the lookout for my complaints about no sugar, no added sugar, and no alcohol for a month. I won't. I don't usually tweet stuff like that. But that's about it. Are you watching Taskmaster? Taskmaster is so good. It's on YouTube. Watch it. What else to watch? Well, I'm like 3/4 of the way through The Lighthouse. That's a strange movie. Not going to recommend that one. That's only for some people. But if you like strange stuff, it's pretty good. I enjoyed it. But, and what else is going on? That's about it. Oh yeah, and be on the lookout for another Movied, which we shot last week. Still got to put it together. That might go out tomorrow. Jake and I are talking about Bill and Ted Face the Music. If you haven't watched that, well, if you want to follow along on Movied, give it a watch. Or just watch us talk about it and don't watch it. That's about it. I'm going to finish this banana now that's been sitting out this whole time. And playlist of other Wheezy Monday videos. I do these kind of videos every single weekday on Patreon if you want to support me over there, where you can also now pledge annually. That's about it. Bye.